Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and we've got this week's Sunday preview. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. It's absolutely free, and I will greatly appreciate it. Building a awesome community here, full of like-minded individuals. So that is it for today. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. So our Sunday preview, brace yourselves for the biggest paint launch in years. So pretty much the biggest paint launch since the last biggest paint launch from Games Workshop, contrast paint expansion line, and then also some new shades or washes, whatever you want to call them as well. We've seen the future and it's vibrant. Get ready to pop some pristine paint pots very soon. New entities to the spray, contrast, and shade ranges will be up for pre-order this coming Saturday. In addition to that, you'll find some hobby accessories, made-to-order classics, and more. Take a look. And you can check out their video. It is obviously super lame. Basically tells you nothing, and yeah. Contrast paints. Contrasts have revolutionized the way we paint our armies. The massively successful range has allowed hobbyists of all levels to achieve the results they want in a quick, fresh, and easy way. This already impressive contrast lineup is set to receive 25 new hues. So here we see the 25 new colors. Most of them are bright and vibrant. And like I have said multiple times with the main contrast range, I do have the entire contrast range. I have used it for literally years since it initially came out. And the truth is, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that most people go out and just buy the entire range. I think you should pick out some key colors and then kind of add on from there. But for the majority of people, you're never going to even use up a single contrast paint, let alone all of them. And that being said, I'm going to have a video coming out very soon that shows off like the top 10 or 12 that I would recommend for everyone to have, and then from there you can kind of add or whatever if you like them. But some of the contrast paints are absolutely phenomenal and an integral part of my painting system. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, I'm a commission painter. We stay extremely busy, and we use contrast paints in our commissions as well as traditional paints and metallics, as well as the Citadel shades. That being said, keep your eye out for that video. For most people, right off the bat, I can tell you 100% certainty that there is no reason for you to be picking up all 25 of these paints. I think once I have an opportunity to try them out, I can give you a much more accurate, realistic idea as to which of these are a necessity to add to your range and which of them are just redundant or completely unnecessary or just perform extremely poorly. A couple of the early access YouTubers who have signed the NDA, some of the ones that have flown out to GW and did like the Horus Heresy promos and stuff, have had an opportunity to use these already. A couple of them also have done some cool videos on them. Highly recommend you check it out. You can see what they look like right off the bat. But the reality is, it's nice to see them just kind of painted onto some bases or some Space Marines or something like that. But in all reality, the thing that would make these best or sell them best or market them best is actually seeing models painted with them, and not just exclusively painted all with contrast paints, but how they work with your existing line. Because it's not about can you paint a model and make it look cool with just these paints. It's more about like, hey, is one of these paints going to be added to your range of paints that you have available to you? It's going to make you a better painter, a faster painter, or your models just look good overall. And that's the most important thing. So I will be picking up all of these paints. I don't necessarily think that that's what I would recommend. Actually, I know right off the bat I would not recommend that for most people, but I want to try them all out, and then I can give you a accurate idea as to which ones are just absolutely like you gotta have it, which ones are, yeah, it's pretty good, but not necessary, and then certain ones that are just like, yeah, there's no way I would pay money for this. So that being, and also you have to understand too that sometimes people say, well, you're a hypocrite because you say that you don't think everybody should buy them, but you're going to buy them. Well, also, I'm a commission painter, and I get paid very well to commission paint models. One, two, I also get to make content out of the paints that I buy, so it's more like an investment in my business or channel. And three, I have to do it to be able to accurately tell you, like, hey, based on Games Workshop pictures, I can say this one looks cool and this one doesn't, or based on someone else's review. But in order to give you an accurate review, which is, what's important is me giving you, what I really think about them, I have to actually have them. I can't just look at a picture and say, oh, this one's good and this one's bad. So that being said, these are some of the brightest and boldest colors yet, including fiery reds and oranges, icy blues, and vibrant greens and purples. Now, I'll go up for pre-order this Saturday, so clear some space on the shelves and start dreaming up new ways to put the expanded range to use. So for our shades, everyone loves shade paints. Rather Slather them on to transform your models from flat and lifeless, gritty, grimy, and ready for battle. And get this, the paint experts at Citadel Color have found a way to improve on perfection. I'm pretty sure what they mean by improve on perfection is that they said they weren't going to raise the prices on their paints in the, the announcement they did where they said, hey, we're raising the price on everything, but not the paints. So I'm pretty sure the improvements that they made to the paints are not to benefit the people, they're to benefit the company. And the improvements are that they went from 24 milliliter bottles, all the shades have been quote unquote reformulated, aka poured into 18 milliliter bottles instead. So the improvement is that you get 25% less paint and theoretically for the same price, in my opinion. We'll have to wait and see, but I have a feeling that they're not going to start changing all of the shades that people have used for literally decades that are like their top selling paints and also, probably the best shades or washes out there. Again, that's just my opinion though. All shade paints have been reformulated to flow better. So again, I just really don't think they're going to all of a sudden change classics that people have had forever, because now if you go to paint more models and put them in your army, they're not going to look the same because they were reformulated. Yeah, I just don't buy it. Settling into the recesses while adding a bit less pigment to the flat surfaces, making them even more useful. So here's the new shades. In addition to reformulating these beloved paints, and don't fret, they're the same great colors, and they just go on smoother and better than ever before. They went ahead and added 7 new shade paints to the range. There's something here for just about every project, and you'll be able to pre-order all the new and reformulated existing colors starting this Saturday. It's very important that you know also that all of the gloss shades have been removed from the range. So all the blank shade gloss will be gone forever. And then also that actually includes the newest shade that came out, which is kind of strange as well. That, I believe, what was it? I can't think of it. Cryptic Armor shade, I think. That one's going away too because it is one of the gloss line. White Scar Spray. Something you just need a crisp, bright white undercoat to give your model the perfect start, and that's where the new White Scar Spray comes in. It's a perfect complement of the existing sprays. Grey Seer offers a wonderful cool white, and Wraithbone a rich, creamy base, and now the Trinity is complete. White Scar gives you that brilliant white base you've always wanted. So I have used Citadel's sprays quite a bit. I have spent way too much money on these things, and the truth is I stopped using them a couple years ago because even though they are okay, there are better paints out there that you can buy for a fraction of the price that either work better or are cheaper and work better. And that is an absolute fact because I have paid for their expensive, spray cans, and I have used them extensively. I have used the, $20 and $30 sprays way too much. And in hindsight, I wish I never did, but I had to experience, what they offer to realize that you could buy a cheap spray paint at your local hardware store or, grocery store, Walmart, whatever it is, and for a fraction of the price. So again, I will, in that video for the contrast paints, I'm going to show you guys a couple of the cans and specific colors or specific paints that I use. And, I'm not going to demonstrate the difference between them, etc. But I promise you, once you see how well these other primers perform, if you can get a hold on them, most of them you can get for between $2 and $4 a can, as where the Citadel sprays are like $20 to $30 a can, depending if you're buying like the regular ones or the metallics and where you live. So again, I would under no circumstances ever use any of Citadel sprays again because they are subpar and cost way too much. Through White Scar, though White Scar has been formulated to have the same silky smooth texture as the Grey Seer and Wraithbone, ideal for contrast, it works with any paint. It gives you a perfect blank canvas that works well for bright, punchy paint schemes. You'll be able to pre-order it along with the new contrast shade paints this Saturday. All the new paints have a 2-week pre-order period, but that's not all. That's up for grabs by a long shot. Oh, interesting. 2-week pre-order period. So, not sure why they're doing that. That just absolutely blows my mind. I guess they're just looking for people to buy them directly from the website before they give people access to them at the stores. Because lately, one thing they've been doing is, normally during the 2-week pre-order period, nothing ships until the 2-week pre-order period is done. But with things like the Horus Heresy that were underperforming sales massively, they were going ahead and just shipping out right away. So they were basically, if you pre-ordered, after the first week was up, they just shipped everything to you. They didn't even wait for the 2-week pre-order period to go away. So once again, Games Workshop, not only with their freebies online, but with the shipping time, they are trying to essentially incentivize people with early access to buy directly from them because their profit margin is massively higher rather than buying, like in the United States, most people buy from a third-party retailer to get like a 15 or 20% discount because everything is just so expensive. So that being said, obviously another one of their tactics to try to get you to order directly from them, but interesting nonetheless, because obviously these are permanent additions to the line, and there's no way that they're going to be, selling out or selling out right away and never coming back. So it doesn't make much sense that they would do a 2-week pre-order period, except for to build up hype and to try to generate as much sales directly through the website as possible. So don't fall for Games Workshop's shady tactics. Next we have Necromunda, Thanos Pattern Hab Module Transfer Sheet. I want to give your Necromunda terrain the lived in by cutthroat gangs and mysterious bandits look. The transfer sheet is loaded with decals representing gang graffiti, devotional prayer script, hazard markings, and spidery scrawl of the nomads. So yeah, this is great. I mean, this is cool if you want some transfers that are Necromunda themed, some numbers, some, all this cool stuff, hazard striping, whatever. This is a cool little transfer sheet. Will I be buying this? No. And is this a horrible practice that Games Workshop is, getting into? Yes, 100%. This should have already been included with the Hab modules, at least if you purchase them separately, since they're ridiculously priced to begin with. It shouldn't be that hard for Games Workshop to give you a 10 or, what are they going to price it at? $20 transfer sheet for free with a $80 or $120 box set. Or if you bought the Ash Waste big box set for $300, they should have slid one of these bad boys in there with it. If they want to sell it separately, that's fine. But, I mean, taking stuff away from your purchase, like everything used to come with transfer sheets, removing those transfer sheets and then releasing them later and saying, hey, look, a new transfer sheet that you can buy, extremely grimy tactic. So, once again, a scummy decision by Games Workshop to sell you something that should already be free with purchase. One sheet has enough transfers to cover an entire battlefield, making it easier than ever to add a touch of realism to your buildings, ruins, and Hab modules. Pre-order it starting this Saturday. White Dwarf 478. July's issue is up for pre-order this Saturday, packed with hobby goodness, gorgeous photography, insights from the studio, teams, and more. So we have 478 with a little towel bro on the front. Kill team, engage the White Dwarf team, begin their campaign. Okay, so there's a campaign starting in the White Dwarf. So they have Kill Team Enhanced Terrain rules. Not sure how I feel about that. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to enhance, but honestly, like, I love Kill Team. It's awesome. But the last thing they need to do is make the terrain and, like, site rules or anything more complex. So I'm not sure how I feel about that whole situation. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's just going to have some rules for terrain that's not been offered in the boxes so far. So there's not specific rules, like maybe woods or something like that. I don't know. Fantastic War Host Monsters, General's Handbook, Battle Report, new rival decks for Underworlds, Horus Heresy, The Fate of Barbarous, and much more. So nothing there that really jumps out at me. 478 is essential issue for sci-fi fans. The expanded rules for the terrain and Kill Team, and the first in a new series of articles for the latest edition of Warhammer: The Horus Heresy. So expanded rules for terrain. Yeah, I don't know, because they came out with that White Dwarf and it had like the can't remember what they were called, Sentry rules in it, and then literally the very next Kill Team box set had like rules for sentries in it that were different and better, in my opinion. And I don't even like those sentry rules to begin with. So, there's I don't know if this is just being redundant. I love when they put cool stuff and free stuff in the White Dwarfs, but I'm not a big fan of when there's like redundancy or unnecessary stuff. Now, they did say that the points from the recent chapter approved would be in a new White Dwarf. It doesn't say anything about it, so I'm assuming it's not this White Dwarf. But that is actually a good decision, in my opinion, for the people who want like the actual pages of points versus just the free download. I think it's great that they give you the free PDF. That is awesome decision by Games Workshop. I think it's great that they put them in White Dwarf. So if you already were going to buy White Dwarf, you get them for free. If you want them and you're willing to pay for them, you can buy the White Dwarf. But I don't see anything about it in this one, so I can't remember off the top of my head what White Dwarf they'll be in. But I'm assuming not this one, since it wasn't even mentioned. Made to order Blood Bowl. So fans of Blood Bowl and the Age of Darkness unite. Classic models are getting a temporary re-release starting this Saturday. For sports fans, take a look at this set of trophies ripped straight from the classic artwork. So these are cool. I mean, I don't really play Blood Bowl, or none of these jump out at me as like amazing, but if you're a Blood Bowl player, maybe you want to get a hold of these. Celebrate your team's victories, create a diorama, or create prizes for your tournaments. Looking for a little Chaos Flair? A set of mutated players for both Chaos Chosen and Skaven teams will allow you to show off some of the gifts your players have received from the Dark Gods, including extra limbs, claws, tentacles. How fun. These models are super old, haven't been around for a while, and obviously they are terrible. But, you know, if you want to get your hand on them, here's your opportunity. And then we have the Warhammer, the Horus Heresy. If your tastes run more in the life... Oh my gosh. Sorry, it's been a long morning already. If your tastes run more to the Legion's astartes, these custom accessories will add a bit of bling to your Iron Warriors and Dark Angels. So yeah, here's some Iron Warriors chest plates and shoulder pads, and then obviously some Dark Angels ones as well. If I'm not mistaken, all these are coming from Forgeworld. So yeah, these resin bits add some Legion flavor to your old armor marks. Perfect for showing honors or converting entire squads for a more uniform appearance. They'll all be available to order just 1 week starting on Saturday. For just 1 week. Interesting. So get them while you can. BOMO strikes again. And then Black Library. Yeah, so that's it for this week. Obviously, this is kind of a nice little reprieve. I've been taking a little time off of some of the purchases on GW because they're, you know, they've been a little shady lately on some of their stuff and overpricing things or just being overall like grimy or like gross sales tactics. So that being said, I'm looking forward to these paints. It's nice that they're not coming out for 2 weeks in the sense that we'll get a week off from buying stuff. Overall, I'm obviously very excited for these contrast paints to expand the line. And I know there's a couple winners in here. I've already spotted a couple that look great, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a handful of these that are literally the paints that are used on a regular basis. As I basically have made a couple of these paints already from mixing some of the existing line and medium. So I have a feeling these are going to be great. Also interested to see how the new shades work, if they actually are reformulated to be better, or if this is just a sales tactic to give you 25% less for the same price and kind of go back on their word of not raising prices. Because in a sense, you know, technically they're not raising prices, but it's called shrinkflation, where you basically charge you know, the same amount for a product, but you give people less of that product. Therefore, you're basically paying more per milliliter, but you're not paying more for the bottle. They just make the bottle smaller. So that's it for today. Let me know what you think. What are you most excited for? Are you going to be picking up some of these upgrades? Are you excited about the Necromunda decal sheet that should have already been offered for free? Are you going to be picking up all the contrast paints? Are you looking forward to the video that I'm going to make telling you exactly which contrast paints I love and can't do without? All that stuff is really helpful when you leave comments, obviously when you subscribe and like. I have noticed that there has been quite a bit of sort of like, I don't know, anger or maybe instability lately in the communities. Not so much on my YouTube channel and the comments or anything, but just in general on some of like the groups that I'm in and just the overall melee of things. I understand like the world is getting a little bit crazy, and sometimes on the internet it's easier to like vent or explode on people, or you know, some of these individuals might get a little bit triggered and decide to go nuts and leave like 20 comments on, you know, everywhere they see, or just fight back and forth. You know, we're all in this hobby together. We're in this hobby because we enjoy it. You know, sometimes prices go up and it makes people mad, or they can't afford something and it makes them mad, or whatever. But, you know, don't take it out on each other. You know, we have a great community right here, or I have a great community with all of you guys in it, and I consider us all to be equals. In many ways, I'm just, you know, the talking head at the front of it, but you guys are all just as important. All of your comments, all of your likes, your subscribes, everything, all the back and forth. I love interacting with you all, but please keep it positive. You know, if you're going to be toxic all the time or whatever, maybe it's time to step away from the space. If you're going to leave a bunch of toxic comments, you know, probably time to stop watching those videos, as it's not healthy to continue doing things that are getting people like that revved up or making them that mad or sad or whatever. But no personal attacks or anything. If you start going crazy in the comment section or anything, or start insulting me or anyone else, I'm going to 100% ban you and take away your voice. So that being said, I'm sorry, but you know, keep the poisonous toxicity away. I'd like to keep it real. Sometimes I bash on GW when they're doing dirty stuff, which is lately quite often. Most of the time I sing their praises when they do something right, which also has been happening lately. They gave away the points for free for 40k and Sigmar. I think that's great. So I keep it pretty real around here, but at the same time, it is most important that we are a community of like-minded individuals with the same hobbies. We enjoy the same things. You know, we're in many ways alike. Don't ruin that with, you know, being mean or disrespectful to each other or me. That being said, going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you like today's video, if you're into Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Horus Heresy, if you enjoy at least one video every single day for reactions, reviews, and news, painting, modeling, or conversion tutorials, make sure to check out the playlist. Make sure to subscribe. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.